לא יודעת, תכף אני אגיד לכם. לא יודעת, תכף אני אגיד לכם. לא יודעת, תכף אני אגיד לכם. לא יודעת, תכף אני אגיד לכם.
יש לי מסר ברור לאותם מנהיגים שמכירים במדינה פלסטינית לאחר הטבח הנורא ב7 באוקטובר. אתם מעניקים פרס עצום לטרור. ויש לי מסר נוסף עבורכם. זה לא יהיה. לא תקום מדינה פלסטינית ממערב לירדן. המענה לניסיון האחרון לכפות עלינו מדינת טרור בלב ארצנו, המענה הזה יינתן לאחר שובי מארצות הברית.
The Hague erupted in chaos on Saturday, streets filled with smoke as Dutch police fired tear gas and unleashed water cannons against thousands of anti-immigration demonstrators. Flames from a torched police car lit the night, while protesters hurled bottles and rocks, waving Dutch flags alongside far-right banners. By the end of the evening, 30 people were arrested, 2 officers were injured, and the glass facade of the center-left D66 party headquarters lay shattered. Inside, wreckage stretched across meeting rooms, a symbol of political anger boiling over just weeks before the Netherlands heads to the polls on October 29th. Prime Minister Dick Schoof denounced the shameless violence, while right-wing leader Geert Wilders, whose push for harsher asylum policies triggered the collapse of the last coalition, branded the rioters idiots. But the Netherlands is not alone. Across Europe, anti-migrant fury has spilled onto the streets with increasing ferocity. Just a week earlier, London saw one of its largest right-wing demonstrations in modern times. Around 110,000 people, many draped in the Union Jack and England's red and white cross, surged through Whitehall. The sheer size of the rally shocked police, who described it as too big to fit into the approved route. The imagery was jarring. Streets once symbolic of British governance were consumed by chants demanding mass deportations, MAGA hats flashing in the crowd, alongside Israeli and American flags.
It is very important. They need to stop illegal migration into this country. It's tearing us apart. You know, we've got people here, the veterans, our veterans that fought for us and for our freedom, lying on the streets with nowhere to go. But you pop in, get rid of your documents, and you can have a 4-star hotel, free board and lodge.
Then, back in June, farther north, Northern Ireland had also been engulfed by unrest of its own. Ballymena, a market town, became the epicenter of violence after allegations of sexual assault against 2 Romanian teenagers. What began as a protest quickly mutated into riots. Masked men hurled bricks, fireworks, and petrol bombs. Police water cannons sprayed into the flames of burning cars and buildings. By the 4th night, 40 officers had been injured and 15 were arrested, as violence spread to Belfast, Coleraine, and Lisburn.
Basically, what happened sort of by asking the people to leave and whatever else was justified, in my opinion, because of the actions that they, obviously, it's a very, very serious crime that was committed and things like that. And the people around here, they've literally got at boiling point. You know, they've had enough. The people, they've been complaining for months and months leading up to this about the behaviour and like wolf whistling at young girls and things like that. And the police have never nowhere to be seen.
Meanwhile, in July, Poland also saw a rise in street anger. In Katowice, around 3,000 demonstrators, marshaled by the far-right party, waved banners demanding the closure of borders. Similar gatherings, though smaller, echoed through dozens of towns and cities. The rallies were fueled by fiery speeches from politicians who warned of a looming flood of outsiders. But figures show that official migration levels remain relatively low. Nationalist leaders called for deportations and praised border checks with Germany and Lithuania as necessary defenses.
What I fear most is that there is no force in Poland capable of standing up to this, short of bringing the army out onto the streets, standing up to those migrants who could cause disorder and chaos here in Poland.
Across Europe, the pattern is unmistakable. In city after city, anti-migrant protests are escalating from marches into violent spectacles, marked by blazing vehicles, broken glass, and injured police. Governments scramble to contain the unrest, yet the fury continues to swell. From The Hague to London, Balimina to Katowice, a restless chorus grows louder. It demands walls, expulsions, and a rewriting of Europe's identity. The continent, once defined by open borders, now finds itself confronting a wave of fire, flags, and fury. An uprising reshaping its political landscape street by street.
Popular music in Brazil has always been an aspect of national culture that exhibits enormous vitality. So we could not fail to respond to the horrors that have been creeping up around us.
We will no longer accept that our democracy is tied to anything. So today, we are here fighting against an amnesty for Jair Bolsonaro.
En ce qui a trait au dossier de l'ex-sénateur Lionel Cassi, suivi a fait la donne à la minute que ça nous gagne comme dossier, comme ce qui nous a dit, nous pouvons monter avec eux, et puis la dossier, on crée du douanier poursuivi. Donc c'est pour vous dire que pas un dossier qui était dans le paquet, suivi va faire la donne. Parce qu'il y a le cabinet d'instruction qui est là. Les cabinets sont là. Donc, c'est-à-dire que le parquet a pour devoir pour acheminer le dossier au côté de l'acheminer par le biais de ça, la loi Bali comme possibilité qui sont réquisitoires, déformées, et puis pour le CAP suivi là-dedans. Donc, c'est pour vous dire que je parle du dossier de Lionel Cassi, mais ce n'est pas seulement le dossier de l'ex-sénateur Lionel Cassi, mais tous les dossiers qui méritent un suivi et tout dossier qui est en souffrance, tout dossier qui est en sommeil. Merci.
Она вот тут, под стенкой.
Банкра тоже не бойся.
Много непонятно.
Сейчас попробуем. Тут если она уйдет, лишнего веса не было.
8 months into his second term, President Donald Trump has taken an aggressive approach to the United Nations as he pursues his America First agenda. Trump drastically cut funding to aid groups and the UN after announcing the United States' withdrawal from the Human Rights Council and other agencies, and ordered a sweeping review of America's involvement in the world body. Even as he undermines it, Trump still believes the UN has potential.
There are great hopes for it, but it's not being well run, to be honest.
The mood in the halls of the UN headquarters is grim as Trump prepares to deliver his 5th address to the United Nations General Assembly.
This is by far the most stressed the UN system has ever been in its 80 years.
In his first term, Trump addressed the annual gathering of world leaders 4 times, using this international stage to pursue his nationalist foreign policy.
The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots.
Trump's headline speech on Tuesday will be closely watched.
If he gives a relatively friendly speech, concentrating on his own successes, I think everyone will be relieved. If he gives a very tough speech, especially challenging other countries over their criticism of Israel, then I think everyone will be very nervous.
Richard Gowan, UN Director of the International Crisis Group think tank, says despite the tensions, Trump actually enjoys his appearance at the UN.
He always likes to get the attention and get the applause from other leaders.
Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
And I actually think that Trump will be coming to New York not to berate the UN, but instead to talk about his own domestic policy successes and foreign policy successes.
The US president is always a big deal at the United Nations, and he likes being feted and showing up and getting the ceremonial sash and having people, do a little bit of ceremonial obedience to him.
Trump's speech may shed light on the as yet unannounced results of the White House review of the UN and future funding cuts.